Rennie,
I was sick this afternoon.
doing a meeting
So
tonight.
I left my phone on my desk. I didn't get on.
Good evening. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Shoalo City Council to order. By roll call, see that all council members are present. Would like to welcome those of you who are with us this evening, as well as those who may be watching at home on TV. I'd like to thank those who have participated in the recent events here, our lighting of the deuce and the tree, and we're off to a great holiday season and want to express our appreciation to our citizens this evening. Would like to begin invocation. I've asked Councilmember Crittenden if he'd lead us in an invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Vice Mayor. Those of you who would like to join with us, please stand.
Our Heavenly Father, please help us make the correct decisions tonight and guide us through the council meeting. We thank you for, once again, the weather that we're having, even though it is cold. We do have moisture. Please help all of our service people abroad and at home, and our law enforcement make it through their service in a safe manner. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item we have is call to the public. Any citizens desiring to speak on a matter that is not on the agenda and was within the jurisdiction of the city of Shoalo may do so at this time. Know that your comments need to be limited to 3 minutes. Seeing nobody move to call to the public, I will close call to the public and come back to special events. This evening we have the swearing in of the new council members. This time we're going to turn the time to Ann Kurosaki, and just want to congratulate those current members who will be sworn in, and you'll be expected to give at least a 3-minute acceptance speech this evening. Okay, so just so you can start preparing now.
You're one of them.
Thank you, Mayor. If the four of you will join me down here.
Go, Rennie, go.
All right. Congratulations, all four of you. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jonas Gilmore,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of the position of, and state your position,
discharge the duties of the mayor, city council,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
You said at least 3 minutes.
At least.
Are you gonna start it?
I'm not shaking.
We'll let you take
nobody's-
yours.
Let's put it that way.
I can't. Bro.
Congratulations.
You're not really going to talk, are you?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't bring any popcorn.
This time I'm going to start with Councilmember Crittenden, just to let him share a minute or two if he'd like, and then Councilmember Kelly and Councilwoman Kakalas.
I truly thank the citizens of Shoalo for having the faith in me to be able to serve on the Show Low City Council. I've been up here on the mountain for something like 18 years. And when I first came up here, I was watching what I really wanted to do, and I really wanted to serve and be able to contribute to the mountain, to the city of Show Low, and to the citizens of Show Low. And once again, I thank you for letting me do that.
Thank you. Councilmember Kelly.
I will say thank you to the voters as well, and warn everybody out there that the people of Show Low really don't seem to believe in term limits. So thank you so much for your votes.
Councilwoman Kakavas.
With humility, that I thank the citizens of Show Low for voting for me and re-electing me to the position. I've enjoyed a long career with the city of Show Low, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to run, is to give back, for being able to work with all the great people that work for the city and serve, and I wanted to continue that. I want all of our employees to know how much I appreciate their service and their dedication to our community, and the recent events have really demonstrated that commitment to each other and to each of our citizens, and I appreciate and I'm so proud of our community. Thank you.
I'd just like to take a moment and say thank you to our citizens and to those in our community, as well as to our city staff for the years of working with them, and also for this council. It's great to be able to run with 3 other council members who were reelected as well in the same time. And so it tells me that we have good chemistry, and I look forward to the next 4 years of working with this council and continue to move Show Low forward and to continue to accomplish the things that we've set out to do and we're doing, but we're doing it with the help of the community and the support. And thank you very much. This time, our next item is a designation of vice mayor to a 2-year term. There are a couple of ways or items. I do have a deck of cards here, so in the event of a possible tie or something, you know, it will be the deuce of clubs who would determine who the vice mayor would be. And so I have put it in here. It is in the deck.
I will verify
And you
that.
can even verify that if you want to look through it, that's welcome too. But we can either do traditional nominations, or anybody who just wants to go a different direction. If there's any ideas or topics, we can do that. But if not, we can go forward there. It's in there.
It's not in here.
Councilmember Alsop.
Yeah, Mayor, thank you. I think, you know, always a change in everything would be good. I like to see, throw out a deck and see who else, who would like to be vice mayor, and let them put the deuce of clubs.
Take a picture of that, it's here, and I'm gonna put it in here. It's not in his pocket.
It wouldn't be in my pocket. Councilmember Crittenden.
I think that's a great idea. I think everybody up here has the capabilities of serving as vice mayor, and whoever wants to participate, we start drawing the cards, and the person that turns the deuce up is the vice mayor.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I like it traditional.
Traditional?
If we get a tie, do the clubs, deuce
Okay.
clubs, so.
Councilmember Kelly?
I didn't hear your comment.
He says he likes the traditional way, a nomination and then
okay,
vote.
Okay,
If we get a tie, then I like the deuce clubs idea, but if there's no
Okay.
tie, why do that?
okay. I was just gonna speak for fact that it's a kind of an overused statement, been there, done that. Okay, so I'd like to spread it around a little bit, and I would respectfully decline. Not that I would refuse to serve, but I just think there's plenty of others capable. And so if you want to draw the cards, I would not draw. Thank you.
That's fine.
That's intriguing to me,
Right.
but
You know, and I think it needs to be, you know, somebody who has the time and has the desire and wants to go, and I will say that every one of these council members can definitely do that and definitely serve, you know, if they'd like to.
Let me go with my opinion again. If we draw the deuce of clubs, if we do it the traditional way, I don't want to be nominated, but if we draw the cards, I definitely want to be involved. So I'd rather step down and let somebody else do it, but if you're going to draw that deuce, I'm involved. It's card game. But if we do it traditional, I'm ready to step down and let somebody else
Make a motion.
do vice mayor. I'm ready to move forward.
Okay. So,
I nominate, I'm gonna start then.
okay.
I nominate Brent Hatch for vice mayor.
Brent, do you accept that nomination?
I certainly do, thank you.
Any other nominations? Councilmember Kelly,
I'd nominate Rennie Crittenden.
Rennie Crittenden. Okay. Rennie, do you accept that nomination?
Yes, I do.
Any other nominations? Okay, come down to a vote then. All those in favor of Brent, raise your hand. All those in favor of Rennie, raise your hand. 3-3. Okay.
Well, you gotta
Rennie and
vote.
Brent. No, I don't,
Yeah.
because I don't. Brent and Rennie, we will come down here and do a draw
Why
for
doesn't
decent
it?
clubs.
Down there?
Yeah.
Does he have to?
Doesn't he have to vote?
Why ain't the mayor voting?
He didn't want to.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Now Nolan's gonna get a picture of this.
Oh, that looked pretty professional to me.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Number 1 through 10, and whoever gets the closest number draws first, okay? You were nominated first, you get to pick the first number.
9.
4.
Well, the number is 7, so you will draw first, okay?
I don't like this. Are we gonna keep drawing until we?
We keep drawing until we get the deuce. What I say
Very
is
disappointed.
pick any card, but slide it to the end,
There.
and then turn it over, face
crazy.
down here, okay? Go ahead and turn your card over.
Turn it over.
Yeah. 9 of diamonds. 9 of clubs.
Again?
Yeah. 6 of spades. 10 of clubs. You got an inside straight going so far here, Rennie.
There, they'll move it next time.
5 of hearts. 7 of hearts. Jack of
I
spades.
keep going up. You're going.
4 of hearts.
He's getting closer. All night.
King of spades. Did you put that card back in here? 4 of
I
spades.
told you I didn't want to play the game. It's right here.
9 of spades. Queen of diamonds. Ace of diamonds. Ace of hearts.
Tell me it's the last card.
7 of diamonds. 10 of spades. Jack of clubs. Ooh, we got some deuces showing up. 5 of clubs. Clubs. Queen of hearts. 4 of clubs.
Can't get off the high end here.
Hey, wait a minute. All you have to do is show low and you'll be the vice mayor, Rennie, okay?
Deuce of clubs.
6 is same offer to you, Brent. Show low and you are the, you guys don't want to be vice mayor. 2, oh, we got our first deuce. Deuce of hearts.
Come on, close.
8 of diamonds. 8 of queen clubs. 8 of spades.
You put that back.
Jack of hearts. Ace of clubs. 3 of clubs, spades. 10 of hearts. Down about 12 cards. Hey, you've got your second deuce. 2 of diamonds. Jack diamonds. Queen of spades. There it is. Deuce of clubs. Congratulations.
Yay. You could have made that easier, Mayor.
There.
Congratulations,
Thank
our
you.
condolences, Mr. Hardy. Okay. Wow. Thought it was gonna be the last card there for me.
was gonna move over there, but they told me to wait.
Yeah, wait. You might elbow me.
Huh?
You might elbow me out of the
Right.
chair.
Hey, I'm gonna lose you to Pastor.
You know, the other day I got a phone call, it was probably about
No.
3 months ago, from somebody just doing our history, and they asked us if we'd ever
Oh, he won.
drawn the cards in modern day for an office, and there was one other time, I believe, that they did have that. Do you recall?
Yeah, in a council election.
And so hopefully that will just be a new tradition, you know, when we'll go ahead and continue the tradition, hopefully, that we started tonight, so that's kind of
Or
fun.
maybe we can get the mayor to vote. That'd be a tradition we can start.
That could be. We have a presentation of an annual report by the Show Historical Society. Ms. Claire Thomas, grateful to have you with us tonight.
I'm excited for you.
Good evening. I'm Claire Thomas. I'm the director of the Show Historical Society Museum. And first and foremost, I want to congratulate the council members on the recent election. And I love the fact that you're still doing our history and deciding the elections with the deuce of clubs. It makes Sholo a novelty. It truly does, and we hear that all the time at the museum. So this is our end of the year presentation, and it just gives you and the citizens an update on what the museum has done this year. So Honorable Mayor, City Council members, city staff, the citizens of Sholo and surrounding communities, so thank you for allowing us this time on the agenda this evening. The Sholo Historical Society Board of Directors held their election this year in April, and our new board officers are Bob Shamasco, President, Danny Seymour, Vice President, Secretary Gail Butler, Treasurer Diane Layton, Membership Sandy Braswell, Public Relations Sue Sisson, and Member at Large Carl Vance. And these Board of Director positions will be held for a 2-year term. So myself and Carol Grossheim work very closely with our board as we do you, the city, and Navajo County in making sound and good decisions for the Sholo Historical Society. The board members volunteer their time, and we wish to extend our gratitude to them for their service to the museum, as well as the in-house volunteers who donate their time, service, and financial assistance throughout the year. Their total volunteer hours for the 2016 season are 2,505, an increase of 383 hours from last year. And without volunteer service, as you all know, our community would not be as strong as it is, and we're very, very grateful to them. The Sholo Museum had another successful year with visitors coming to see us from all reaches of the world, and I do mean the world because that's where they come from. Our visitor count for 2016, as it stands today, is 4,232, a bit less than this time last year. But it still exceeds what we have had in years past. With 600 of those visitors, those were children from our area schools and organizations. And Miss Sue, who has been with the museum for 21 years, continues to teach the children throughout various programs. Kids Rock at the school, Heritage Day held twice a year at the museum, Kids Summer Camp that we hold during the summer when children are not in school, and many homeschooled classes come to the museum for their special day at the museum to learn about our heritage and to love and appreciate history as well. Our Joanne Hatch Research Library continues to grow with donations of various books about our rich heritage within the White Mountain communities as well as Arizona. We have accessioned 59 items this year. We have expanded our exhibits with these donated and loaned items. We have a new exhibit in our Sholo room, and those are previous city council members, photos of your organization. and we encourage you to come in and take a look. And Tamara, thank you for providing those and sharing those photos with us. It's a very nice display. The Silver Creek Railroad continues to be a vital part of the museum. The club renewed their contract with the Show Low Historical Society in 2016. The club provides their own insurance for their existing exhibit, and that is above and beyond what the Show Low Historical Society provides for the overall exhibits in the museum. They partnered with the museum in a security upgrade this year, providing 2 additional security cameras that are real-time cameras. And so those 2 cameras are in their exhibit room. And with that expansion of the security, that gave the museum 2 additional ports. And at some future point in time, we will also include additional cameras in the museum as a whole. We'd like to thank Wired on the Rim for their service in providing our security system for us. The Silver Creek Railroad volunteer members successfully completed the 2016 project that they had received grant money for from the Arizona Historical Society. The club was awarded yet another grant for 2017 in the amount of $1,500 for continuation of the railroad exhibit. And so for those of you who have not come into the museum to see this railroad exhibit, it is extraordinary. At this time, I'd like to talk about our outdoor curb appeal. We could not be more pleased with our new parking lot. It is just so wonderful to have that clean slate to work with. Just absolutely thrilled. Thank you. The removal of the utility poles and the shrubs is a great improvement for street visibility, not only for the building, but for the emergency vehicles that come down the east side street there. You can actually see the police cars when they come off the hill now, and I think that that's very valuable. We are also installing handrails on the east side walkway, which a couple of years ago was provided as an Eagle Scout project, and now we're completing that with handrails. And that walkway accesses the back parking lot of our building. Sterling Fence is providing those services to the museum. And we also are very happy to report that Hunter Braswell has accepted and will attain his Eagle Scout badge through a project at the museum. Now that the utility and paving projects have been nearly completed, Hunter will proceed in constructing a keystone retaining wall on the east side parking area. That will be greatly utilized and more beautification for our curb appeal. We are grateful to Hunter, his Scout troop, family, and community members that are providing their services for this project. I anticipate that with weather permitting, that project will be done in the near future as well. And as I shared earlier, we have visitors from all over the world visit our museum, and we never really know who's going to walk through our doors. So I'd like to take just a moment and share this story with you, as I have in years past shared different stories with you. I mean, I could stand here all night and tell stories, but I will tell you of this gentleman that came into the museum about 6 weeks ago. He is a giant of a man in stature and personality. His name is Marty Rainey, and he hails from Alaska. And he walked in, and of course I greeted him like I would any of our guests. When I shook his hand, I thought, oh my, this man is an outdoorsman, because his hands related that. Well, he wanted to know everything that there was about Show Low. So I gave him our little brochure, explained what we explained to everybody, and sent him on his way. Well, he got into the Show Low room, and he came bouncing back down the hallway. And like I said, he's a very large man. And I said, oh, how can I help you? And he goes, well, there's old timers in there, and I want to know everything there is about them. I don't have time to read them. You have to tell me. I'm going, oh, okay. Well, here, I'm gonna go do my job. So I did. So we started talking about the old timers, as he called them. I asked what he was doing so far from home in Alaska, from Alaska. And he says, oh, I'm here with the Discovery Channel. He says, we've been doing a segment of living off grid in Apache and Navajo counties. And, one should never second guess what one says. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, the Discovery Channel, all right. So anyway, we start talking about Colonel Cordon Cooley coming here in the 1870s, our Mormon pioneers migrating a few years later, and then, the famed card game, hence this game, just on and on and on. And, and it came down to, he said, do you ever have any land wars here? And I said, well, of course we did. I said, this was territory and not that long ago. And so he wanted to know about the range wars between the sheepmen and the cattlemen, and even now recent modern day water rights. And he goes, oh, he says, well, we were going to do our segment with a lady in Eager. And he says, she's 80 years old, and boy, she can tell you all kinds of things about water rights. And I went, oh, yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. And so we discussed that for a little bit. And then we moved through the museum. And he was very, very interested in how our pioneers came here on faith, or the Army came here on faith, knowing that they could live off of the land. And he just wanted to take all this knowledge back to Alaska with him and live off grid. So 2 hours later, he had certain rooms in the museum he was thoroughly interested in, and most of it was of the pioneer, the cattle, the sheep, the water, all of these types of things. Our tour came to a conclusion. And so we were talking about some of the people that they did do their interview with, the Discovery Channel had done their interview with. And I said, oh, well, I said, come on in my office. I can pull up some of the people, and you can see who they are in their website. So when you get back home, you can check them out. And he goes, oh, well, while you're on there, he says, why don't you pull up mine? Well, sure enough, there's Mr. Marty Rainey with the Discovery Channel. So in closing with that subject matter, he was a delight to listen to. And his closing statement was, I wish I had come here first to learn of your community. He says, we may not have had to go out into the Tules to interview people. He said, we could have done a segment right here. So who knows, Show Low may be on the Discovery Channel someday. So it was truly a delight to meet with him. But anyway, that's my story for tonight. So on to a little bit of business, and then I will end this segment. The museum will close to the general public on December 17th, as we have done in years past, and we will reopen on Wednesday, March 1st, 2017. Although, if anyone has family in or has a need, just call. Please call my cell number. It's posted right there in front of the museum. Most of you have my cell number. I'd be happy to come down and open the museum up for you. So for our home visitors that are watching tonight, the museum is located at 561 East Usif Clubs in Show Low. Our phone number is 928-532-7155. Excuse me, 7115. And I want to ask that everyone please remember Pearl Harbor Day tomorrow. And remember those that served then and that are serving now and that serve in the future. For without them, we wouldn't all be here standing and enjoying the freedoms that we have. And also, the next time any of you are in Tucson, at the U of A, there is an Arizona memorial that has been dedicated to the ship, the Arizona Memorial. And it has all of the sailors that were aboard that ship, Their names are there, and there's an outline of the ship itself, and it's a discrete red line, but it's in the middle of the campus, and it's the exact outline of the USS Arizona. And so just take time next time you're down there, pay it a visit, and be proud of our Arizona. So in closing, I want to thank the City of Show Low, Navajo County, the museum members and families, volunteers, visitors, people in the community that continue to support our museum. I think we're doing a superb job for 21 years that we've been there. And so at this time, can I answer any questions for any of you?
Any questions of council? No, we just appreciate what you offer for our community, and you do a great job. Thank you very much. And the
Yeah,
volunteers
I have
that
a
do
quick
things
one.
there.
What was Marty's last name?
Rainey, Raney.
Got it.
Yeah, he's a character. Yeah. Well, thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
You're very
Appreciate it.
welcome. And it's been a pleasure serving you this year, and we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You too, Claire. Thank you.
Next item we have this evening is a consent calendar. Is there any items that need to be reviewed or discussed at all? Just want to make note on item F, the contractor there is Rawlings Specialty Contracting. That was left off on the timeframe of the warranty process there. Seeing no items that need to be pulled, I'll review the consent calendars. Item A is consideration of approval of a proposed fiscal year 2018 budget calendar, consideration of reappointment of the city magistrate and extension of the city magistrate contract, consideration of acceptance of a rural gateway project grant awarded by the Califa Library Group and authorization, consideration of resolution R2016-27 and granting utility easement to Navapache Electric Co-op, consideration of authorization of a reimbursement payment to the Arizona Department of Transportation for the public transit buses that were sold, consideration of acceptance of job order number 1 of the manhole replacement job order contract, city project number S0616, and then the minutes of the city council meeting November 22nd. We have a motion by Councilmember Crittenden, seconded by Councilmember Alsop. Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? See that passed 7-0. Thank you. Next item is item 8A, consideration of award of professional service contract for the Cooley Clark Monument Project and authorize using council contingency funds. City Manager.
Mayor. In 1998, the city entered into an agreement with local artist Dennis Lynn to construct a lifelike monument made out of fiberglass to depict the Cooley Clark card game. The monument was completed and installed in Festival Marketplace in December of 2000. Since its installation, the piece has suffered numerous vandalism and damaging attacks, which have been costly to repair. Then on November 9th, 2016, the monument was inadvertently damaged beyond repair. The monument was removed, and city staff contacted the original artist, who still lives in Show Low, to seek a proposal to rebuild the new monument to its original form and material, which was fiberglass specifications. The cost quoted by Mr. Lynn is $25,102. Staff submitted a claim for damages to the city's insurance company. The city would be required to pay a $5,000 deductible, after which the insurance company would contribute $20,102 toward replacing the monument to its original form. Staff subsequently requested and received a proposal from a company, Sparta Bronze, that's also a local company, to cast the monument in bronze. The company would work directly with Mr. Lynn to ensure it was recreated close to its original image. The cost quoted by Sparta Bronze is $49,800, not including the cost of installation, for completion within a maximum of 1 year. And I might note that the $49,800 is a significant reduction from the what would be a normal cost. The cost includes a 3-stage process: sculpting, mold making, and casting. Sparta Bronze representatives would work with city crews to oversee the installation at Festival Marketplace upon completion. Based on our past experiences with damage to the monument, staff believes it is advisable to cast it in bronze. Funding would come from the city's insurance company, from outside donations, including an online funding account that was established soon after it sustained damage in early November, and from council contingency budget in an amount not to exceed $29,698. So staff's recommending that we move forward with a contract with Sparta Bronze. We're available for any questions, and also Mr. Kent Kidwell from Sparta Bronze is also in attendance, should we have any questions of him.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
I'm not the vice mayor anymore.
Well, I'm sorry. Councilmember
I did raise my hand.
Leach.
I do have a question. If we're gonna do this and spend that kind of money, I'd sure like to see a security camera there. I think we should figure out additional costs. I think we can get one that's,
Yeah, we can work on that separate from the contract.
well, no, I agree with that, but it's part of this. I just think we should look into, before that gets put back up, because now they can paint it and do all kinds of weird stuff. Not that I've ever done that to a Yellow Jacket in my days, but just saying, it could happen.
Any other discussion? Not, I'll look for a motion. A motion by Councilmember Crittenden.
I move to award a professional services contract to construct a new Cooley Clark monument to Sparta Bronze in an amount not to exceed $49,800, not including the cost of installation, and authorize using council contingency funds as part of the payment in an amount not to exceed $29,698, and also review and investigate a security camera for the bronze.
Do we have a motion? Second by Councilmember Alsop. Any other discussion? Councilmember Leach.
Just real quick, since we took the other one down, can we put it back, this bronze one back up? Do you think, or is we're gonna have to hire out to have somebody mount this?
No, the Sparta Bronze confident with our crews, and we've talked to our crews that they can install it with the oversight from Sparta Bronze.
Just kind of curious, how heavy is that?
It'll be heavy. Do you know, Mr. Kidwell?
800 pounds.
We need it heavier than that. Fill it full of bronze, don't just make it.
Oh, spaces with lead.
We'll go the other way. Heavy as possible.
We have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? See that passed 7-0. Next item is item 8B, consideration of award of professional service contract for conventions, events, center feasibility study authorized using council contingencies. Mr. North.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good afternoon.
Morning. Good evening, Mayor, council members.
You must have got a nap.
Yeah. The concept of a convention and event center in Show Low, as you know, has been discussed numerous times, particularly in the last couple of years. Following the 2015 council retreat, staff continued to explore the concept with other entities and determined that conducting a feasibility study is an important first step in the process. Staff advertised an RFP in September, and we received 3 proposals. Staff presented those findings at the council retreat in October, as you recall, and was directed to review and assess those proposals and to pursue financial support. A city committee was formed to review and rank the 3 proposals, and I want to go through that with you. The top 2 proposals have very similar methodologies. In both cases, phase 1 of their proposals determines the feasibility of the project, and phase 2 examines design, ownership, and funding options. In both cases, phase 2 would only be conducted if warranted by phase 1 and upon the city's approval. Hunden Strategic Partners came out on top at a cost of $19,500 for phase 1 and an additional $10,000 for Phase 2. Johnson Consulting came in second at a cost of $22,000 plus expenses of up to $4,500 for Phase 1 and then $13,000 additional for Phase 2. The third proposal by Bright Ink Development Services was a little bit different than the other two in that it included both phases in a package deal at a total cost of $50,000 plus expenses. In that case, all of the fees are reimbursable if the project is funded. Staff feels that the proposal by Hunden Strategic Partners provides the best proposal for the price, and therefore we recommend awarding the feasibility study Phase 1 to them. We just mentioned that staff has secured $8,000 from Summit Healthcare and APS to help fund the feasibility study, and recommends using $11,500 from the contingency reserve to finance the remainder. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions of council? Councilmember Leach?
Yay.
Councilmember Kelly?
Yeah, this would be Phase 1. And try to elaborate a little bit more on what Phase 1 would accomplish for us.
Well, Phase 1 would include an assessment of the Shola market. It would also take a look at demand in the area or demand worldwide, and look at some of the financing options, but not go into great detail. That would happen in Phase 2. And then just a basic feasibility, whether it's doable or not, based on those conditions. And then, of course, Phase 2 would go in, if we do that, would go into design and funding options.
So if I'm getting it, Phase 1 would tell us if they felt like, if you build it, they will come, but would it be profitable? Is that correct?
They would look at the financing of the project as well.
What I'm
That would be
saying
part
is
of the
feasibility, is it just if there would be activity, or is it feasibility, would it be economically profitable for someone to do this thing? Is that included?
Whether it's profitable or not, very few of these are profitable, but it will look at the demand for this type of facility regionally as well as all over the country, and determine based on our market as it sits now whether a project like that would work here or not.
But, okay. I hate it when I'm not more clear than I am right now. I'm sure you hate it too. Is this thing entirely based on whether or not the city of Shola would be the owner of this and the builder of this, or is it broader than that?
No, they would look at different ownership options in Phase 2 if we get to that point. Phase 1 is just going to look at whether this thing is feasible or not under the current conditions in our market.
Councilwoman Kakavas?
Is site selection slated for Phase 1 or Phase 2?
That would be Phase 2.
Councilmember Crittenden?
This Hunden Strategic Partners, they do Phase 1, and if they convince us that Phase 1 looks like a go, they are automatically Phase 2, and are they the automatic builders?
No, Phase 2 would be, again, we could put that back out to bid for Phase 2, although they do provide those services. One of the other consultants does the same. Actually, all three of them do all three phases, so we could put that back out for bid.
The reason I'm asking, if somebody comes in and convinces us this is a wonderful thing, and then the next step, they are funded for that, and the building step, they are funded for that, then we have to be a little careful on phase one and make sure that they're giving us, the correct information. That's a concern I have.
City manager.
We actually believe, after looking at the proposals, that whoever we select for phase one, more than likely will do phase two, because there's a lot of tie to phase two. But it may be, we also feel it may be advantageous that if it moves beyond phase two with a private partner or with the city, that it's probably advisable that somebody else is involved in that phase of it. So the first part of it doesn't show a demand for it, just so they can build the facility. You see, you understand what I mean there?
Yeah, now,
We think it's better that the building may be a different company.
do we share with them the thing we went through before, where we had the group come in that wanted to build, they wanted to manage it, and they wanted us to pay for it? They had the numbers involved there. Are we sharing that with this group?
They did.
That information?
You're talking Global Entertainment.
That's so long ago that I think we need to have a relook at it, and,
No,
That
I'm not saying
proposal
use
was-
theirs. I'm saying share that with this group.
we'll share with them what happened there, but the proposal's totally different than what we're looking at in these proposals.
Okay.
Mr. Northwind, Councilwoman Kakavas asked you if this included finding potential sites. You said it'd be the next phase, but yet in this background, you identified the potential sites for a facility. So would they narrow it down that maybe it's best North Shoalo, South Shoalo, a little bit? Would there be a little bit of site, logistics be discussed or not?
Yeah, I think they would provide us, and this has been conversations I've had with them, with all three consultants. They would provide us a matrix of some sort, a model with some general information about where a facility like this could be developed. But again, more specific information regarding exact sites would come in phase two.
Right, definitely. But they would look at our whole geographic area and say it might be best to put one out towards the airport or out towards, Walmart or something, just where they're going to flow and pull.
Yes, it would be the same situation with financing. We would be provided some general information on financing options. And again, they need to go through that process in phase one just to determine whether it's feasible or not anyway.
A potential size may be a scope of something that what would work and what wouldn't work.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Councilmember Kelly.
Yeah, back when we started talking about this, what I'm remembering is, did we want to be part of a feasibility study if we had community involvement and there was good interest? Well, two places helping with this is not what I had envisioned. I'll just share that with you. And this leaves us the major partner, over 50% of the cost. If it's targeted and headed toward the city of Shoalo building a facility, and I'll be a little negative here and say creating a giant alligator for us to try to draw people in here for the benefit of the local businesses, like we would try to draw in a ball tournament to fill the motels and have the restaurants have nice annual or weekly tickets. I'm not interested. I'm not convinced that it's the government's job, especially of a small town, to present and do a project like this. I would like to see, and I was not opposed to it, I don't recall speaking against it, in the fact that we're going to go out and get community involvement and we'd be participating, maybe spend your time to some extent, not 100%, no way, to lead it up or something like this. If we were a 10 or 20 or 25% partner in the feasibility study, looking for someone else to do this as a profitable enterprise. If we're thinking we're targeting this to see if somebody's gonna study it and say, Show Low, you ought to do this because it's going to enhance all kinds of sales tax revenue and stuff like this on the side, then I'm not on board. Mayor, I think the manager would like to speak.
I just say that the council knows we've had numerous discussions on this. I think the last 3 retreats, we've talked about it. And we feel that we need a feasibility study to get us off the dime on this thing, to say whether we need to pursue it further with private partners or with the city or whatever. I think that's some of the options that'll be presented, but we need to know whether we need to continue talking about it. And that, it's staff's recommendation that we need to get a feasibility study done. I agree, we didn't get a whole lot of participation, but we didn't ask a whole lot of people, and we got a substantial amount, a portion of this, a little less than 50%, to help with the feasibility study. The feasibility study can be used by the city of Show Low or any other private developer if they want to proceed forward with it.
I think it's a good marketing tool when we go to conventions in different places trying to promote Show Low. If we have a decent feasibility study that says this is a potential, not saying that the city of Show Low is going to be building it, but it could possibly be built by a developer or a group of people who want to possibly look at this area doing that.
It would seem to me if there's private money out there interested in the results of the study, if they would put up some money to make it happen, it would happen. If we go forward now, I see zero chance that we'll get additional participation, because why sitting out there on the sidelines would you kick in when it's going to happen, whether you kick in or not? I'd like to see this reach a 75% participation from the community, outside businesses, and then let's go. But with us carrying more than 50% of the load and only 2 respondents, I'm not on board. Thank you.
Councilwoman Kukovis.
I agree with the manager in that we have discussed this issue numerous times, and we can theorize as much as we want to, but until we have something definitive in our hands, I don't think that we can really decide to stop discussing it or move forward. I think the second phase would be more along the lines of what you're seeking, as far as we can't get a developer or anybody interested in it until we determine if it's even feasible for our community.
Makes sense. Any other discussion? I'm going to look for a motion at this time. Councilmember Leach.
I move to award a professional service contract for Phase 1 of the Event Center feasibility study to Hudson Strategic Partners in an amount not to exceed $19,500 and authorize using council contingency funds in an amount not to exceed $11,500.
You have a motion. Is there a second? Second by Vice Mayor. Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? See that pass 6-1. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Appreciate your comments there, Council. Next item is item 8C. Which is consideration of approval of a 5-year capital improvement program for fiscal year 2018 to 2022. Mr. Cup.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The City of Show Low was required by City Code to have an approved 5-year capital improvements program, CIP. CIP is a planning tool to look 5 years ahead in order to plan and prioritize the city's needs. The program is administered by an advisory committee that consists of city staff, representatives from Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council, and a citizen representative. Prior to the advisory committee meeting, a public notice is posted for recommendations for capital project requests. A number of requests were received, 2 for the same project. Every requester that provides contact information also receives a written response from staff regarding their request. The first year of the CIP also includes any projects that were not funded in the last year's CIP. These projects were noted on the CIP summary sheets during the advisory committee discussions. The 2018 projects are the committee's top priorities. However, it is understood that all of the projects cannot be funded. The budget process will be the final determinant of which projects receive funding. Only projects over $50,000 are included in the CIP. Smaller projects will be accounted for in each department's operations budget. Each project listed in the CIP has a detailed capital outlay project sheet, which identifies the projects, its cost, potential funding sources, and a timetable. And those are all contained in this book here. There's several copies. City manager has a copy, city engineer as well. And then detailed cost estimates and maps were also included in the worksheets when appropriate. The advisory committee met on October 26th and again on November 16th, at which time the CIP was approved by the committee to be recommended to the city council. Staff recommends that the city council approve the 5-year capital improvements program for fiscal years 2018 to 2022. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I want to thank the council members who have worked on this, Councilwoman Kakavas and Councilmember Hatch that was on this committee, and thanks for your efforts in making this happen, as well as staff. I know it's one of those budgets that we look at. I know it can change, but we at least have to dream it on paper and have a cost associated with it. So thank you, guys. Any discussion items? I'll look for a motion. Vice Mayor?
I move to approve the 5-year capital improvements program for fiscal years 2018 through 2022 for the city of Show Low.
Have a motion, second by Councilmember Crittenden. Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? See that passed 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Cumpy.
Thank you.
Next item is item 8D, consideration of ordinance number 2016-05, repealing ordinance number 209-22, and resolution number R2016-28, prescribing standards of financial disclosure for local elected officials. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you know, having most of you been on the council for quite some time, every year you're required to do a annual financial disclosure statement. And just to give you a little history and background, on January 8th of 1975, the City Council approved resolution number 102, which prescribed standards of financial disclosure for candidates and elected officials. This was based on the provisions of Arizona Statute 38545, which requires that all cities adopt standards of financial disclosure consistent with the provisions of that statute. On December 1st, 2009, the council approved ordinance 2009-22, which added this section to the city code. It was known as Article 2-7, entitled Financial Disclosure. This was done to comply with statutory changes at that time. In the 2016 legislative session, House Bill 2429 amended the financial disclosure statement required for candidates and public officers. The primary change is that a new category requires reporting certain travel-related expenses, which when reported are exempt as a gift under the law. In addition, some of the other changes were that the law no longer requires that you list specific names of your spouse or children, so long as there's a general description on the statement. It also allows you to provide either a home or a work address. And lastly, the Arizona Secretary of State is authorized to prescribe the electronic format for the local public officers' financial disclosure statements. And there is a slight change in the staff summary in that I did receive today an email from the Secretary of State saying that the electronic version is available online now through their website. So this law takes effect on January 1st, 2017. So for your disclosure statement they'll be due in January, you do not need to worry about the travel-related expenses for this previous year, but that will be in effect for the coming year. And the other changes will take effect in January 1st at that time as well. There also is a small change in there as well, in that the Secretary of State has interpreted that the law requiring verification on the statement does not mean that it needs to be notarized. Since the statute allows cities to adopt the financial disclosure standards by ordinance, rule, or resolution or regulation, it's not required that we have it in our city code, and after discussing it with the city clerk and others, we feel like it's better that we take it out of our city code and just do it by resolution. They seem to have a lot of changes to this form. It seems like it's happening all the time, so it's just easier if we do it by resolution rather than having to change our code every time the legislature makes a change. So we're recommending that you repeal that previous ordinance that was done in 2009, and then include all changes since 2011. I believe the changes were shown on the document you had. They were either in uppercase or showing by being deleted or in some type of red font. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, and hopefully the city clerk can help.
Thank you. How many jobs did this create? Any discussion on this? At this time, by unanimous, I'll ask the clerk to read the ordinance number 2016-05.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Show Low, Arizona, repealing ordinance number 2009-15 and removing Article 2-7 financial disclosure from Chapter 2 Mayor and Council of the Show Low City Code.
Thank you. Make a motion to move to adopt ordinance number 2016-05. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Kukovis. All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? See that pass 7-0. This time I move to adopt resolution number R2016-28, prescribing standards of financial disclosure for local elected officials. I have a motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Kelly. Any other discussion? And then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? See that pass 7-0. Thank you. This time, next item we have scheduling of meetings. Is there any well, maybe not. Let me see. I think we got summary of current events. Sorry. Council members wishing to cover any current events may do so at this time. Councilmember Alsop.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to report that I went to a Show Low Main Street Board meeting last week, and we talked about the finances of everything that happened this last year. The farmer's market was a great success. They've already got people signing up for 2017 with vendors and people to sell food and have a great time out there. So that's already looking good and starting to grow. But the main thing they want to get everybody's attention on is the time of the year where we're celebrating Christmas. And we just did a Christmas tree lighting this last Saturday. And we want to thank everybody that participated in that. We want to thank the Show Low High School and the Show Low Junior High. Also Mike Bosley for doing the announcing for us. But most of all, we want to thank the Show Low PD and Officer Darren Reed's family for turning the Christmas tree lights on. It was a great honor to have them. Main Street went and talked to them and asked them if they could do that. And we just want to show our appreciation for everything that Show Low PD and their family did. So we definitely show our love and our compassion for them. We also have this Friday and Saturday, Friday from 2 to 8 and Saturday from 10 to 4 is Santa's shop over at the Show Low Gym. And there are going to be a lot of people over there selling stuff and hopefully a lot of people over there buying stuff. And that's what we're looking forward to, get the Christmas holidays and going. This will be our last meeting before after the New Year. So I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And that especially want to thank staff for everything they've done this year and also my city manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council members? Councilwoman Kukovis.
I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and thanks for all your service and being part of our community.
Great. Vice Mayor.
Yes, I'd like to express my appreciation to the council for working together so well this year. I think We've done a wonderful job if I can't pat ourselves on our back. I would like also to echo the plead to please pay attention tomorrow to December the 7th and celebrate it in memory of those that gave their lives at Pearl Harbor, and also to salute those members of the military that are still in the service and serving this country well. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other comments of council members? Councilmember Kelly.
Yeah, I would just like to wish everybody a very happy holiday season here and ask that you be especially careful out there and have a safe one. I don't know what good it does, but I think it doesn't hurt to encourage if alcohol is going to be involved, be sure and have a designated driver. Don't kill yourself and the family. Please don't do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council members? I just want to express the same thing that's been a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to those citizens here in our community. It's great to be part of Show and the giving that's there. I want to thank those who participated in the community fast for the great sacrifice that people made and the donations they made for that cause as well. And just want to reiterate that we're still accepting donations here at City Hall for anyone who would like to continue to contribute to that fast, because it does help us, people in need. And we have some great council people who go out of their way, who help for turkeys and things for Thanksgiving, who help with Clothe the Child, who help cook for different events that are going on, and just there. We have a real robust city council, and I appreciate that. Appreciate the employees and citizens here and staff for what they do. I want to express my thanks to Councilmember Leach for his dedication and support the past 4 years as our vice mayor, and appreciate him serving and his willingness to do so at that time, and look forward to continue to work with him on council, as well as welcome Vice Mayor Hatch going forward here. You know, change is good, and change is something that we can continue to pride ourselves on and make sure that we move forward. And so I just want to also, we have new mayors locally, Pine Top Lakeside, Mayor Stephanie Irwin, and then also in Snowflake and Taylor. So they had to go through that's kind of ordeal as well as selecting their mayors in process here, but we appreciate that, and so we look forward to working with those people going forward. Again, have a great new year, and thank you very much. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. Show Low Police Department and Timber Mesa Fire and Medical District are hosting a fundraising breakfast with Santa this Saturday, December 10th, from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Timber Mesa Fire Station on 6th Street. That's the fire station next to the police department. The pancake breakfast is $7 per person. Kids can visit Santa from 8 until 10 and have their photos taken for $5. This is a benefit for Pine Top Lakeside Police Chief David Sargent's wife, who is battling cancer. As has been mentioned a little bit, the city's annual signature event, Show Low Shines for the Holidays, kicked off the season at Thanksgiving time when the Christmas lights were turned on at the city facilities and parks. There are a number of family-friendly events to celebrate. As was mentioned by Councilman Alsup, the Santa that shops at Gingerbread Lane is this Friday from 2 to 8 and Saturday from 10 to 4, and that's at the city campus gymnasium at 620 East McNeil. The library's kicking off a couple of new events this year. The first annual Polar Express Night at the library here at 181 North 9th Street. Next Thursday, December 15th at 6:15 p.m. with a reading of a popular children's book by the Show Low Police Chief, Joe Shelley. There'll also be goodies distributed to the kids, and there'll be Christmas cookies and a performance by the high school orchestra. On the next Thursday, December 22nd at 6:15, the library will show a computer animated movie version of the Polar Express. And again, that's 6:15 on December 22nd. And our final event for this season will be the Deuce of Clubs drop on New Year's Eve, December 31st at Festival Marketplace. The festivities begin at 11 p.m., followed by the dropping of the Deuce of Clubs card and fireworks at midnight. We want to remind the public that the Aquatic Center is closed for annual maintenance and will reopen to the public next Monday, December 12th. We appreciate the patience, everybody's patience during that closure. And this is the last council meeting of this year, so we also wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a safe and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Any seconds? Not seeing.
I
Councilmember.
forgot that one thing. I want to thank or congratulate Sholo Junior High Wrestling for taking first place in the region this last Saturday over in Mogollon, and the kids did a great job, and they won by the biggest margin, 288 points.
That's awesome. That's great. Thank you for mentioning that. Okay, seeing no other business, I'll adjourn this meeting.